Hi everybody, hope you're all keeping well. So we shall just get going here in a couple of seconds. Just got to do the usual and get everything lined up. So shout out if you guys can hear me. Just give me a little thumbs up. Hey Syra, excuse me, how are you? So we've got a mystery demo tonight. Something a little bit different as I frantically try and chase everything here. Hello Fiona, Sandra, excellent. So we've got a few of you guys on. How's everybody going? Excellent. So I can see you guys coming up. Gavin, Sarah, hello. How's everybody going? I hope you're all keeping well. Rachel, you're there. Natalie, hello everybody. So hope you're all keeping good. I've gathered a few more flowers, you can see. So a few of you guys very kindly saw my piece yesterday. This is the piece that I made for Cake International for the virtual competition. So thank you all for your lovely comments. I managed to get a highly commended. All very different this time around. Hello people, hello Cork City. How's all going? So yeah, thank you all for your lovely comments. It was actually a lovely day, so it was. And this time, because it was all virtual, they had no gold, silver, bronze, so they had highly commended and commended, and then an overall first place in each class and best in show winner and the public vote. Very exciting actually, and an incredible day from the Cake International crew. So I now currently have lots of flowers. If I die tomorrow, lads, I've plenty for the coffin. Don't be worrying about buying any. So thank you very much, Christine. Couple of things first, just before we do start. I know this is a mystery one. We just wanted to keep a little small bit of intrigue. You're all very welcome along. If you don't know me and you haven't been here or seen any of my live demos before, where have you been? My name is Miriam Pearson from Sweet Creations in Wicklow in Ireland, and I supply all sorts of cake toppers and cake decorations and everything. And during lockdown back in March, I think it was, I started to do live demos. So I used to come on every week and do a demonstration, different flowers. A lot of these ones here as well that I zoomed across to were some of the ones that I did in the lockdown. So tonight I want to do a sort of a live demo. There's lots of comments flashing up here. Argentina, I see. Cork, I see. Perth, Australia. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, everybody. Teresa, how's everybody going? So what I want to do tonight was a little bit of a surprise demo. New products that I've got in, very, very excited, and something that I've wanted to have for a long time. So I'm going to be using those tonight, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. This demo, you're free to share it across to your cake decorating groups and your pages. You work away, just share it to whoever you want, and we're going to get going. All right, so let me just drop this down onto the table and we'll get going then on the demonstration. So I will just drop it down here. I don't have any fancy apps, so I literally just have to just shake you for a second until I get you down on the table. So there we go, and now you can see, hopefully. So now you can probably see what I'm going to be making. I think that should be about right. And the angle, and shout out, you guys can hear me. Thank you, Julie. Hi, Long Island, New York. Teresa, how are you? Donegal. I'm not going to shout out. Marie O'Connor. Yeah, if I die tomorrow, honestly, don't buy flowers. Just raid the house here. There's lots. So guys, this is what I'm going to make. These are just the dinkiest little booties. So we're not doing flowers for a change. Hi Claudia. We're not doing flowers for a change. I'm going to be making some little booties. So what I have done is we've made Santa's booties. Then I made a pair of snow boots for Mrs. Claus. And then I went ahead and I made a pair of elf shoes. So let me just show you all of these. So this is what I'm going to show you tonight. So I really hope you'll be interested. And you will be able to enjoy the demonstration. As I say, free demo, feel free to share it across to your groups. These are Mrs. Claus's snow boots. And then we've got Santa's boots. All right, so I'm going to show you how to make all these tonight. And One person got fairly close to what this was for, so I shall share this with you guys in a little while, what I'm using that lad there for. So let me just pop these here and hopefully, yep, you should be able to see them. As always, if you have Carol, open up your wallet, more buying. So as always, if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to shout out and I can surely try and answer them. There is a slight delay when you comment. There's about a 20-second delay when you comment and when I see it on Facebook. So if it's a thing I do miss a question, I'll come back to it and I shall, I'll just answer it at the end if I do miss any questions. So the new products that I have, and these are something that I've been wanting to get for ages. A lady in England called Rachel from the old piping bag. An awful lot of you guys will know this. And she makes the most amazing molds. I've seen her for the past few years in Cake International and we've been kind of chatting and everything else. So I have brought in now and I'm stocking her molds and her veiners. This is the main one that I'm going to be using tonight. She also makes these most amazing texture mats, which I've also gotten into stock. Mortar markers. I've got a couple of those guys, a couple of other texture mats, crumpled paper and pebble dash. So there's lots and lots that you can do with this, and you'll see the quality of these in a little while. Also what we have is her cube mold for making your building blocks and everything. So this is another one that I've gotten in. I just think it's a really it's amazing quality actually, these guys here. And then the other one, which a lot of you will be familiar with, is her half sphere mold. So the reason I love Rachel's products, you know, not only are they really good quality, but every single one of them she hand makes on the booties and everything here on the mold. The texture of it, you'll see it once I start making it, but the texture of the crochet, this is hand crocheted and then she's created a mold from it. And I just think it's amazing. I just think her products are amazing and it's really a pleasure now to be able to stock them. So they are live and I'm going to show you how to use all these. The formers, you'll see when I start to make them, the formers are a game changer. In my opinion, I've been making booties for a long time and the formers without question are an absolute game changer. So let me start, and you're all very welcome along. Anyone that there's lots of you there from everywhere, so really nice to see you guys. So let me start. I'm going to make Santa's boots. Okay, so we've got the texture on the bottom and everything. You've got the knit on the inside, so there's lots of different ways that you can use this. On the elf shoes, I kept the knit on the outside. On his boots, I kept it on the inside. Alrighty. So Rachel is also here and watching, so if there is some questions that I'm not sure about, she can field them, of course, field any of the answers as well. So let's get starting. So I'm going to be using the booty mold. First thing that I want to do though is I want to do my board. Okay, so what I have done is, this is the board that I've made for it. Okay, so I'm going to just start by doing that lad there and show you how I make him. Because they just travel better and everything on the board, you know, and for packaging or anything like that. So the board Christmas is coming, it surely is. I'm using a 4-inch board, okay, and I'm going to take just some white flour paste. For these guys here, I use only flour paste. I don't use sugar paste, just for the simple reason that obviously for them to stand upright, you need flour paste. Okay, they won't stand with sugar paste or your normal fondant icing because it's just too soft and it'll drop down. Brigitte, how are you? Brigitte, I believe you have a head start on the equipment with the nail brush. So you'll see what I'm doing. So I'm going just taking a little small piece of my flour paste, and the flour paste that I'm using, this is my own brand of flour paste that I make here for a couple of years now actually. I make it here, so it comes in a 200 gram pot in white, and you can colour it up. I've obviously coloured it red, black and green, whatever colour that I want to do. So Jackie, you can buy off my website, which is at sweetcreations.ie, or if you're in the UK, Rachel has her own website there as well, so we can pop a link up later on if you're not able to get it from Ireland. So I'm just rolling out some of the flour paste here. Place this onto the board. I don't generally use any glue or any water or anything like that to stick it to the board because it's fresh. it will stick. You won't really need anything to it. And I just want to smooth that over a little bit. I'm going to take my texture mat then. So this is the concrete texture mat. Alrighty. And I'm just going to lay that down on top. No problem at all, Jackie. So I'm just going to lay that down on top and roll over that. So I get the texture, peel it off. I don't need any corn flour. I don't need any icing sugar or anything like that. So you can see it's a really, really beautiful texture. And obviously because there's no dip, I suppose, or no edge on this, if you were doing this on a bigger cake, it will just link along. So you know, you can just knit it all in together, and it doesn't give you a seam. So once I have this on, then I'm going to take the mortar board, and there's 2 mortar boards that I have. So the first one, this is the multi, and then you also have the Victorian, which gives you this lovely Victorian kind of tile effect. All right. So we just place this across, and the beauty, they're 4 inches square, so they exactly fit my board. I'm just going to press this down, and I would do this, and then I'd just leave it alone to dry, or I'd knock off a few boards and have them ready. So if you want to dust or paint, it's easier on a dry board. Pop this off then. So let's just push you down, 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 and it gives you the little grooves in it for the cement. What you can't see is, you might see it when I dust up the board, but down in the grooves, it's kind of, it's textured here on the edge of it as well. So you get that texture down in the cement. Yeah, so you can overlap. That's what I was trying to say, Rachel, thanks. So you can overlap the mats, especially if you're doing obviously a big cake or anything like that, so you don't get a seam on it. So once I have this textured and marked with my mortar board, I want to just trim the excess off the board then. Alrighty, and it's always hard just to do a little small board. It's like covering a small dummy cake, isn't it? There's kind of no weight in it, so it keeps wanting to fight away from you. So that's my board done. And like I say, normally what I would do, I mean, you can colour it up and dust it up straight away if you want, but I would normally colour it up, leave it alone to dry, just that it's kind of skinned over a little small bit, and then I can do my dusting on it. All right. So that's the board. And what I want to do then is, anytime I'm not using my flour paste, I pop it back in the tub or the box, just so as it doesn't dry out on me. Once it's dry, this one I did just an hour ago, half an hour ago, and it's just skinned over a little small bit. And what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to take a small little bit of dust. So just let me grab a tissue just so I don't get this all over the workboard. So how's everyone keeping? Are we all doing okay? Hope you are. Hope you are. Okay, so it's nice to do something different as well than the flowers. So this is nice Christmassy feel. So this dust here that I have is just a kind of eucalyptus colour, a greyish. I just like the grey kind of finish. And I'm just going to go down each groove. Now I don't mind that it's going to overspill. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a second. Okay, if you have any questions as I'm going along, ask, of course. And like I said, these are the mats and the mortar boards and the sphere moulds. They're all newly listed on my website, which is at sweetcreations.ie. So have a look. I've got new products. So I also have new edible snow. I'll be using that shortly. So I go along the creases, but then you can see a little small bit of spillage. So I'm just going to kind of brush that out so it sort of fades out. Now, I don't know if you'll see the texture of the cement, I call it. So it'll be the filling down along the centre. It's actually textured as well. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. No trouble, Linda. You're very welcome. So just do this, and then I want to fade it out just that it doesn't go. Can you kind of see the texture? You sort of can. So I just want to fade that up onto the white, just that it doesn't go white and grey, you know, and just fading that a little bit. Okay. Just that extra bit of dust is all. I'm not adding any more to it, but just that it's out. So you've got your boards faded up. Obviously, you can do the concrete part in grey. If you didn't want to do it in white, you can do that as well. You could fill in. What I did on the elf shoes was I filled it in with a little bit of non-toxic glitter. Of course, if you're doing this, you need to tell your customer it's non-edible because you've used the glitter, the non-toxic glitter on it. So just be warned. But they will keep, of course, for ages. So that's your board prepped. With these mortar boards as well, obviously you can link these up. So if you're doing a bigger board, you'll do 1, 2, and you'll just link along, so it gives you that cobbled effect. Alrighty. So it gives you just a really, I love the old style kind of cobble, and it doesn't have to be used on boards. You can use it on your your side of your cakes, or your, you know, whatever you're doing, whatever you're building, your Christmas cakes. So that's my board done. So I prep that off, and then that can just sit there happily and let it dry. All right. Do you guys, my brush, yeah, sure, look it still works. It's not broken, it's just battered, but then same as myself. All right, so then what we want to do is we want to do the soles of the shoes. Alrighty, so we're going to start here and the soles. Now what I have done is, for Santa's boots and Mrs. Claus's snow boots, I have used this part here, which is my bootie. So the parts on it is, there's I think 21 parts on it. You've got the sole, you've got the back of the boot, you've got the tongue, these little pieces here. So this will work for your lace, this will work for your trim, and we're going to be using this for the trim at the top for the front. This piece here, then this will go up along the back, you know, like you'd have on Converse runners or something like that, this piece. And then there's little dinky pieces. So there's a foot, there's a flower, there's a little love heart, there's a wee little tiny bead here. There is a button, another footprint there, and a sheep. So you've got lots of little small embellishments as well. I have a small bit of red paste there. I just want to pop that out. So Marion, the molds here are from the old piping bag, the new ones that I'm stocking. So they're on my website. It's if you just do a search on my website for the old piping bag, everything that I have will be up there on it, and you'll see it. Alrighty. And they're fantastic molds. They're from Rachel in the UK, in the old piping bag in the UK, and she hand makes these, hands designs them, hand makes them, even made the crochet to go in to make the molds. So first up, we're going to make the sole of the shoe. Now normally what I would do with these is I'd make the sole and I'd leave it alone to dry. It's just easier to work in because you're not going to move it then or anything like that. So what I have done is I've just taken my flour paste and I've coloured some black. Just using, you know, your gel colours is my preference to make them. So what I have done is I use a micro scales. And what I have done, if anybody wants notes, the sole of the shoe takes 11.8 grams of flour paste. It's just easier. I'll show you now why. Just let me get that. Okay. So I just weigh off my little bit of paste. And it's quicker to do this because what happens is if you put too much paste in it, if you put too much paste in, then you're trying to trim it off and you're trying to do that, and it just gets messy and you end up losing the texture. So I'll just show you the way that I do it. So I take my piece of paste. Okay, everyone happy out? Yeah. So I take my piece of paste and you can see as you work it, this is flour paste. Okay, so this is my own flour paste that I've just coloured with some black gel. And always when I colour the paste, I'll colour it and then I'll leave it sit for maybe about an hour or an hour and a half. And the colour will develop. So you just get this really, really nice, strong colour. So I've just knead my paste, roll that into a ball in your hand. And I'm coming down to a kind of a teardrop, I suppose, shape sort of on it. And what I prefer to do when I'm making anything that's textured like this is I just roll it a little bit on the board, just that it starts it out. So teardrop, because obviously it's tapering in at the heel. Are we good on spot? Yeah. Okay. Press this down then to the edges. Okay. You can roll over it then. Now you can decide now, do you want to have the knitted texture on the outside or the inside? For these boots, I've got the knitted texture all on the inside. So hopefully you can see a little bit there. And I've created this texture on the sole of the boot. So sometimes, you know, you'd have them tipped up on the cake. So you just want it to show that sole. So what I did was I leave it in the mold. And just with my mini palette knife, this is a really, really handy little palette knife that I have. And I press just to do, so there's his heel. So that marks the grips. And the reason I leave it in the sole is if I took it out of or leave it in the mold, if I took it out of the mold and if I try and do these markings, I'm going to distort the texture that's on the inside. So I want to just keep that. And then I come across and I just mark these because we don't want him slipping, do we? So just mark across, crisscross, one way and then the other direction. Okay. All right. And then what I do is I just push in gently just around the edges. All right. And then just start to flex the mold, and it's a lovely soft silicone, so it'll flex, and peel that out. No corn flour, nothing on it. So can you see now, there's the knitted texture on the inside, or the crochet texture I should say, on the inside, and then on the outside we've got the texture of his sole. You can do this or not. I like to do it. Or even if I was doing these, say, in white for a christening, I would just mark the heel. Just, it's of interest to it, you know, just creates a little bit of interest. All right. So I leave that then, just leave it flat. And by doing that, you haven't distorted the shape and it's stayed exactly as it should be. The reason as well I like to make when I'm working in black, I make it because always you'll have a stain on your hand. So I can make it, wash my hands, clean down, and then go on to the colours, so the red in it. Is that all right? What we do then is we're going to take, make the back, and we need the tongue, okay? And here we need the formers, and these formers, I'm telling you, are game changer. These, now the overall booty measures 2.5 inches, okay, or 6 centimeters, so it's really dinky, and I've got them here, they're on a 4-inch board, so really, really nice cake topper side. So we've got our formers, and these come in a pack of 2. I've got my mold, and then I want some red paste for the back, okay, here, this one takes 15 grams of paste, and the tongue takes 10 grams. Okay, so I'm just going to weigh up my 2 pieces for these. If you have a micro scales, it really is for little things like this. It makes it easier because you have no wastage. So that's 15 grams there. That's for my back, and then I just want 10 grams for the tongue. So how's everyone keeping? Are we keeping well? Fran, thank you. Yep, the old piping bag is the brand. Sorry, as I say, there is always a little small bit of a delay from when I see them from when you write the messages to when I see them. So that's my 10 grams, okay? So I've got my 2 measurements there. So let's go on the tongue first. Roll it into a circle again. I'm pressing between my hands as I roll, so I get rid of any little creases, okay? And then we just, again, to that little kind of shape. So I'm thinking here it's wider at the top, and then I can press it down into my mold. Just get that down nice and flat. Hola, Clara. How are you keeping? Hope everyone's doing well. Okay, so just press that down to the mold. Again, pull that into the edges and make sure your mold is filled. And because I'm keeping the smooth side out, I want to make sure this is nice and smooth on the outside. Okay, and just in at the edges, tidy that in so you've got that perfect shape. And it is important to keep the shape because the molds are obviously made to fit, so it is important to keep the shape. Fiona Mackey, how are you keeping? Hello, boss lady, and Damien. Damien's obviously not the boss in that house. It's Isabel, really. So, got my tongue made. We do the same then, and I'm just pulling this down so it will fit. And again, I'll just start it off on the silicone. All right, we press down into the mold and just fill the mold. And I mean, silicone molds are amazing if you're doing commercial cakes because they save you so much time, which saves you obviously so much money. So we press this down to fill the mold again. And we just roll that through. I'll always roll it through just to be sure it's nice and smooth and I've got it right down into the texture of the mat. Okay. Hi, Carol. Damien knows he's not the boss. Okay, so once I have this in the mold, I want to just leave it in the mold for a second. I'm going to take my stitching tool, which probably a lot of you guys have, and I've got a small little crease there. So let me just smooth all that down. Okay. Then I'm going to take my stitching tool. I'm just going to run up the edge, run up along, and up the edge and across the top. Okay, on the tongue, across the top, down and down. I'm not going to bother doing here because at the toe you generally wouldn't have that on it. So we just come down and down. So you wouldn't, this is the toe part. So you wouldn't have your stitch in there, obviously, usually. All right. So again, we have popped these out and see, so this is the fur texture on the inside of the tongue and I've left it smooth. So we've just got our stitching there on it. And we do the same on this. And like I say, no corn fur or anything. So there's the inside, okay, and the outside. So you'll see on the elf boots, I've used a different part of the mold, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, but I left the texture on the outside, okay. Rachel, I whipped up a pair of elf boots there half an hour ago. I decided I need to make them. Okay, so what we do then is we've got our base made. We need to take our former. I don't use any glue at this point. So what I do is I face the former away from myself. I place on the tongue. So if you face it away from yourself, you can get a better gauge of kind of your center. And we just place that on over. Okay. So that comes down and you want to be certain you're down there at the base. We can lift it and move it. And then what I do is to put on the back, because the back there, place that away from myself and I can center it a little bit better. Okay, wrap this around and the former, you don't need any tissue, you don't need anything. So I can pull up the tongue there and you just get that perfect little shape. Make sure at the base it's all right down to the bottom and it's just all nice and snug in there. I'm telling you, the elf boots were made at 7 o'clock. So they're still wet, but they're fine, they're standing. Okay, if you find for any reason, so we have a little small bit of a thing there, and I just soften that. I can still go back over it with the stitching tool. That's not a problem. This part we're not actually going to see because we need to put on his fur. And then what I want to do is I want to poke 2 holes for his laces. So just with the end of my pointy tool, or a knitting needle, or a back of a paintbrush, you know, it's a case of whatever's handy. So I'll make 2 of these, obviously, and I've got my two soles. These are dry. These are already dry. You can leave it on the mold on the former if you want to do that, just to let it dry a little small bit. I tend to lift it straight off, so I tend to go straight away with it. What I do is, in this little pot here, I will come back to it, but in this pot here, I actually just have a bit of, see it there? I have a bit of flour paste and water, and I'll come back to that in a minute. I'm just making a little bit of gunge, so I'm letting it sit. But what I do is I want to just take my edible glue, and with the former, I'm just going to hold it so I can still hold it, and I'm not going to damage any of the paste, you know, the fresh paste that's there. So I'm just going to run my glue all around that edge there. So all around that base. Do any of you guys make booties? They're a great little cake topper. They really are. So all the way around, and then I can just pop the former out. So this will just pop out and straight onto my sole. And the reason I like to use it a bit fresh is quite often I need to just pull it just to get it stuck straight down. And if the shoe part, the body of the shoe is dry, I don't have any movement and I've no kind of forgiveness on it. So if it's a little bit soft, I can still move. I prefer the texture on the outside. Yeah, Brigitte, you can do whichever. I mean, the boots, I was thinking, you know, if these, you could actually glaze these so they'd be more leather looking. So that wouldn't work so well on the texture, but it's completely personal. So you're just sticking that down, and this is why you need to let the soles dry completely. All right, so we now have his boot made. And I mean, perfect size for christenings, obviously for everything. I'm have made them before, but they take time, Linda. So I made a pair in 20 minutes, maybe. Without the former is the key. It really is a game changer. Okay, so once that's secured down then, you can see it holds its shape, and that's because it's flour paste. So just let me, in case, because oops, I'm going on to white next. So just in case I have any black or red on the board just before I go on, we'll just tidy it up. And you always get that little bit, don't you, on your hands, so it's important just to kind of tidy that up a little bit. Okay, so then on the white, yeah, I love making, so what size is the sole? So the sole is 6.5 centimeters, Fiona. 6.5 centimeters or 2.6 inches. Okay, 5 and a bit, 5 and a line inches. 2.5 inches, Fiona. Thereabouts, Irish measurement. All right. So once you have your boot made, you'll obviously make 2 of these guys here. All right. You can glaze that now if you wanted to. So if you did want this to look more leather-like, you can. Thank you, Carol. You can glaze it with your spray glaze if you want to do that as well. Okay. So then what we want to do is we want to make this part here. And I need to get some white. Okay, they're amazing. They really are fabulous. So let me just get a little bit of white, and I'm going to use one of these guys here. One of these little strips here. They'll work for your trims or anything like that. So they're both about 1 centimeter wide. To go around the top, I need 8 centimeters in length. Okay, so I mean these guys are 13 centimeters, so I just make kind of one of each. Alrighty. Where can the formers? So yeah, the formers are there. The guys are putting up the link from my website. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, Carol. And that's where the booty, the molds and the formers and everything are. I didn't get enough time to make more varieties. I wanted to make a christening pair today and things, but I'll be honest with you, I went for an hour nap in the day. I was a bit wrecked because I was watching Cake International all day yesterday and baking. So I'm getting old, so I had to have a sleep. Apparently that's what happens. So I'm just taking a bit of white and I'm just rolling that down. I've kneaded my paste first, so I'll always knead it up to condition it and to soften up those gums and glues. And while I'm talking about competitions, actually, Maria, you're here somewhere. The Cork Sugarcraft Guild will have they have their online competition. Entries are closed at the minute, but they've their online competition and our results will be out on Tuesday week, I believe. So good luck to everybody who has entered and the judges and the committee. It's been great to do these online competitions. I think I've done 5. 5 I did. So last 2, and then who knows when there'll be another one. So I'm just rolling this down. I'm just catching that texture. Yeah, Joan, brilliant. Okay, no trouble. You're very welcome. Okay. So I've pressed down my white paste, and again, just keep it in. You can see there I did trim a little bit. Never use a knife, obviously, in your molds. I'm just using the palette knife. So Tuesday 24th is results. Woo woo. Okay. This is going to give me the texture on the underside, which I'll just show you, but I don't want the texture. So this is where we create fur. Okay, so take my nail brush and I leave the flour paste in the mold again. Okay. So did anyone here compete in any of the competitions? I think probably a few did. I'm not sure. Thanks, Fiona. Thank you. Yes, Fiona, you'll be coming up in June with your competitions and your show hopefully. That's in Scotland, guys, in Edinburgh. And I'm looking forward. I think I might have a passenger with me, maybe even, if we're allowed. Okay, so all I'm doing with the brush is that I just keep push down and just kind of vibrate it a little small bit. And can you see what it does? So for you guys who guessed on the event page, one girl was very, very, very close, called Rachel Smith. So if you're here, shout out, Rachel. You were very... Fiona, no, it's off. Okay. I hate this virus. Everything is postponed. Okay, so Rachel Smith, you were very, very close, and I'm going to arrange a little prize for you. So we just create that fur, and again, you can see Carol, that is a nail brush. Does that not look like a nail brush? It's a nail brush. Rachel Smith, well done. Will you message me, Rachel? I'm going to pop a little voucher or something on for you there. So would you just drop me a message on the page? You came the closest. You're very welcome. Okay, so I've textured up with the nail brush. Carol, I'm in the country. That's what we have for nail brushes. Okay, so what I want to do then is I want to just peel that off the mold. And again, I'm not stretching it or moving it or anything. I made two, but I'll only just need the one actually because I've just one booty made, and I shall talk you through. So then what I want to do is, because I know it's 8 centimeters around, so what I want to do is I just want to cut this. I'm going to cut this just a little bit bigger, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to cut this now to 9 centimeters, and I'll show you why in a second. So then what I do is I will take my glue, my edible glue, okay, and I'll just run around this side here, okay, and I place it with the fur side out, obviously, that we've just created. If you want, if you prefer, like there's the texture that the mat gives you, so of course you can use that if you prefer, or you can create a little bit of fur. Place that around. So I cut it to 9 centimeters because I want to be sure that it's going to meet. So we just make sure that goes nice and straight. Okay. And then I'm just going to take a scalpel, and this is why I cut it to 9. So I'm going to go pop one finger just inside. It's not a scrub and grunt. It's a nail brush. Oh my God. So you obviously just found out something about me then. So I'm cutting this at an angle. Stop it. Right, cutting that at an angle, and that's why I cut the length to 9 centimeters. But here the narrowest part is 8 centimeters. All right, so very unprofessional to get the titters in the middle of a demonstration, isn't it? I'm sorry. Okay, so once you've this done, then you can. So if you wanted to have sprayed that so it looks like leather, you can actually do that. You can do that, and then if you want to, you can leave this plain or you can glitter it. So let me show you the two. You'll notice this looks a little bit darker. It's just because it's still fresh. When this dries out, it will lighten a little small bit. Okay, so you can leave it matte or you can glitter it up, whichever you want. Obviously, if you glitter it up, you need to tell people, you know, that it's non-edible because you've used the non-toxic glitter. So let me just pop a little bit of glitter out, and we'll glitter it up just so you can see how I do that part as well. Okay, I'll not show you the big tub of glitter that I have, but I'm just going to work on a lid just because it travels. So what I do is on the fur. So again, guys, just for anyone that was kind of late joining us, the molds that we're using, these are a new product that I'm stocking, and they're from Rachel in the old piping bag. And it is her molds for the booties, the cubes. I have the half sphere molds for the eyes, and then I have texture mats and mortar boards as well. And you can find them all on my my website. Obviously, if you just do a search on the website for the old piping bag, or go onto the essentials page, that's where they're all listed, and you'll see them all there. There is the stock that's on it there. I've created that if you want to. If it runs out, you can still order them, and they'll be done on a pre-order, so you can still do that. Okay, so then what I'll do is, with my thumb inside again, I'm just going to take in a little bit of glitter, and I'm just going to, I've glued here now the fur, okay? And I'm just coming the whole way around, and as I said to you, this is the reason why the sole would always be dry. Okay, so I've just a little bit of glitter on there, because who doesn't love glitter? And then I'm just going to take a dry brush and just take off any excess. So that will just knock off for you. And this way I use like a board or a kind of a box underneath me or something like that, just so it will catch any of that, because you know how glitter travels. It's a bit of a devil. Okay. Yeah, so the little trims can be used around the soles. So if you were doing, I guess, kind of the runner style, the little trims that I just used on the fur, the full length of that will go around the sole as well. That's what you mean, Rachel, I think. All right, thanks, Johnny. Okay, so the bootie's made, and we've glittered up the trim on it, and then I just want to do a pair of laces. Okay, so they are quick to make. I know I'm slower making them. Obviously, when you're demming, it's a little bit slower always. So what I did was, for the laces, I have just a small little bit of black, and then I'll finish up that second one afterwards. I want a little bit of white because I kind of made little snowballs for on the end of his laces. Sorry, you guys can only just barely see that. There you go. They're the ones that I did. Okay, so for the laces, what I did was, now I didn't poke those holes all the way through either on the bootie. All right. So that is it. So we are almost done. So I just take a small bit of black and I just roll that out just with the heel of my hand. I'm using this part of my hand here just to roll it out. You can, of course, use a smoother, a cake smoother as well, if you want to do that, just to get it nice and kind of level. See, this is the problem with glitter. It travels. And do remember to tell your customers. I mean, that's our rules here in Ireland. I'm not sure about where you guys are, but the glitter here, even if it's labelled as non-toxic, it must be placed on things on your cake that are going to be removed and not eaten. That's our rules here. So each country, you guys will probably have different rules. So I'm placing a little bit of glue just into each hole. Don't over glue this because it gets very messy if you do. And you can make these all in one go. I mean, the soles, even if they sit for half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour, it will work for you. So we pop in the end of the lace in. Am I good on the camera? Yeah. Pop the end of the lace in. I come over this side and I'm just going to cut that just past the second hole. Okay. So that then will pop in into that part. And I always just put my finger on the inside and that'll support it. Okay. So do the same here and pop that in. And we do the same here. So we'll just pop that guy in. And I normally just do 2 holes for laces. I don't do 3 because then you're trying to kind of crisscross them and match it. So just pop in that lace there. The ones on the board look bigger. Exactly the same size. Exactly the same size, Jane, yeah. Same mold, same size, and same weights of icing. There you go. Exactly the same size. If I've put them heel to heel, there you go. All right, so that's those. What I did then for this part here, so for the little lace, is I just took a small little bit of this black and I basically just, okay, just tapered the end of that a little small bit, folded kind of off center, so not exactly in half. And then what I did was a little bit of glue, just pop that. You can go to the side if you want to do that. Place that on there. Okay, now of course you can make little bows and you can do that as well. And then the snowball is just a small little piece of white flour paste. Hate doing black and then doing white because it's always that tendency just to stain, hasn't it? Okay, and then I take my little bit of glue. Yeah, no problem at all, Jane. Absolutely no problem. They're exactly the same size. Possibly is an angle maybe that you're looking at. I'm not sure, but I swear. Okay. No trouble, Christine. Thank you. And thank you for all the videos you've been sharing. I don't get much time to watch them, but eventually I will. So we just pop on those two little snowballs on there, and then we'll just glitter those guys up as well. Just a little small bit of glitter on them because, you know, Santa Claus likes his glitter, doesn't he? Okay. And a little bit, I'll just do this just do it here on the edge of the table, just so as I don't have to pop in. So then what I'll do is I'll just take back my dry brush and just knock off any of that kind of excess. And that's the little boots made. All right. So what I do then is, so I've got my board ready. I'm just going to pop him to one side so they can dry, and I need to make the second one. So you remember I said I had a little pot of gunge. So basically your gunge, you would often use this to anchor ornaments to cakes, or maybe to anchor a cake to a board or whatever. Sorry, I've just glitter all on the table. So what I did was I just took some water and I popped in a couple of bits of flour paste into it. So this makes your gunge, okay? What we call gunge, technical name. And the reason I'm using it is, normally if I was gluing these straight onto a cake, you could use edible glue or something like that, but just because the board is textured, so this one here, the mat that I used was the concrete texture mat, and then the multi-marker. Yeah, multi-marker. I'm getting tongue-tied now. You're very welcome. Hi, Marion. You're very welcome, guys. So the reason that I use gunge is just because this is textured and the bottom of the boot is textured. So you remember how we did the sole. And if any of you guys are late coming on, you've missed this, this will be saved on my page on Sweet Creations. So be sure to follow the page. I probably will pop on and do another one pre-Christmas of something else. But so you can always go back and watch it. All right. No trouble. You're going to watch The Jungle. I knew you were, Carol. I'm going to watch it too. It's okay, I'll speed talk now. So I take my gunge and I just take out a couple of these little bits here. Let me just, hang on, and I'll just show you. Where is it? This will be easier than trying to fish them. So let me just find one. Okay. So basically with the gunge, what you get is the paste kind of half softens, all right? And you get this, it's gunge. It's basically what's called gunge. And this is a super, super strong glue. You can use it for glue for flowers for sure. If you have a few odd little bits and pieces, you can mix it. So what I do then is I just take a little bit of the gunge onto the sole of my boot. And it just, because it's a little bit thicker, now you select where do you want your front and where do you want your back. Okay, so a little bit of gunge just on the bottom. You're very welcome, guys. And it just means they're secure. So what I do then is I can go on the inside and I can press down and I can press down. The only thing I want to be certain is that's matching with the board, because I put these in, the acrylic boxes. I put them in this, so I just want to be sure it's not overhanging at the edge. So I can pop my finger down inside and I can just secure that on. All right, and then the only other thing that I do on them is I will use, so this is another new product that I have. So this is edible snow that I have, and I can basically pop on a little bit of glue or a bit of gunge, maybe here or there if I want to do that. Just pop in a little bit, just a few kind of dots of it here and there, just so it'll stick. You don't have to do this, but it's a nice effect. And then I'll take my edible snow. Just let me wipe this guy here. And I'll just pop on. So this is just your edible snow, and you can put on little kind of bunches of it as if he's just come in. Yeah, the boards are fantastic, and the mortar boards, really, really like them. So you've got the little bit of glue or snow, and that gives you the contrast then to it. The gunge will give you a super strong stick, because, as I say, the board that we've done is textured. It'll give you a really, really strong hold on it. So let me just pop these over, pull these in. Anybody have any questions? Good man, Carol. Love spending your money, Carol. Okay, yeah, got the boards in stock. So the same thing again, if anything is gone that it looks like it's out of stock on the website, you should still be able to order or message me and you can do a pre-order. That's not a problem at all. And I can have some more in by the end of next week. So let there be no panic. So what I did was, I'm just going to show you what I've used, all right? So first one here for the board, I used the concrete texture mat, okay? So this is the concrete one, and then I used the multi-marker, mortar marker. Rachel, give them an easier name, multi-mortar marker. Okay, that's what I did on the board. But also what I have, if you prefer a different texture, is this one I love. I haven't tried it yet. This is the crumpled paper. Really lovely mold. And this one here is Pebble Dash. And you also have the Victorian mortar marker. Okay. Okay, so that's the one that I used there. That was my board. And then for the booties, I've used the booty mold. Okay. For Santa Claus boot and Mrs. Claus snow boots, I used the sole and the tongue, obviously, and then the centre part here, this is the part for the back. So just to give you a recap there, on the sole of it, it's 11.8 grams of paste. The back takes 15 grams of paste and the tongue takes 10 grams of paste. Okay, so that's your weights if you want to weigh it in. And that's what I use there. And then for the fur around them, they're both the same. She's got the fur around her, around the edge as well. Obviously, you could do that in like luminous colour boots or anything. I used these guys here and the length around is 8 centimetres and I just cut it to 9 centimetres so you have that little bit of kind of play. All right. Thanks, Lee. Thank you, guys. And then what I did for the elf boots, exactly the same. So I've still used the sole. And I've used this part here. So this part here gives you the wrap around, the slipper effect. All right. This one here, if anyone's keeping a note, takes 22 grams of paste. All right. But you've no tongue. You don't use the tongue in it. So, I mean, they all pretty much weigh in the same amount of paste. And all I did there was then I rolled out a strip of red and I just cut my little V's in it and then popped in some little gold beads. So the elves could have a pair of shoes because God love them. So that's what I used there. And then what I also used was, this was the edible snow, which I popped around and it just gives you that snow effect. And I also then used the flour paste. It must be flour paste. That's the one thing. It's got to be flour paste that you make these guys after. Is the instruction on the weights on the package? No, Carl, but I'll actually put it up on it. It's not a problem. I'll add up that, or if anybody is lost on the weights, I'll add it in under this video and I'll pin it to the top, just the weights for all the different ones. So guys, that is it. That's what I wanted to show you tonight. Lovely to have some new products. I have some other new products coming in during the week, I hope. Post is a little bit dodgy the last week or two here, just with Black Friday is coming and everyone is online shopping. So it is taking an extra day or so. But like I say, if anybody wants stuff, you can do it on back order and we can have some here for Rachel has carrier pigeons, so we can have it by the end of the week. If I'm out of anything, just let me know and we'll do it. So let me just pop you back up and everybody's heading away. You're all going to watch the jungle. I know. Yay, Fiona, you'll love these. These are amazing. So that is it. Let me show you a closer up picture of, so there's your Santa booties. Probably better under the other light actually for you. Okay, so there you go. And it's quite nice using that eucalyptus flower because it still looks sort of grey. These are Mrs. Claus's snow boots. And then this is, you're very welcome, guys. She's a helicopter. Good girl, Rachel. I'd love spinning helicopter. And these are the elf shoes. So these are used making the outer part of the mold, and you don't need any tongue. It just wraps around and you can see that texture on it. Okay, so Carl, you've got 7 minutes till the jungle starts. Everyone's heading for the jungle, aren't you? So that is it. If you have any questions, a few of you guys have tagged the website there on it, so fantastic, and thank you for all the support. I really mean that. We're in the middle of lockdown again. We've another 2.5 weeks to go, I think, and hopefully we'll get to reopen then before Christmas. As always, thank you for the support. You've no idea what it means to all of us that have small businesses, to Rachel and myself and everything, all of us that have small businesses. It does mean a lot. You guys know that because you're all small business holders yourself, and it means a lot. I will try and pop on again before Christmas and do another one because, you know, I miss you guys, and I'll do flowers again the next time. I've got some exciting new pieces coming in from Sugar Delights, some lovely new flower molds and veins, so keep an eye and we shall see them. See you all very soon, guys. Carl, you've got 6 minutes now, so you're good. You've time to pour the wine. Thanks a million, and I shall talk to you all very shortly. Stay safe, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye.